What's going on, collectors? Welcome into Ross Loves Cards. Today, I want to share with you all the biggest pickup I've made to date, and I'm pretty excited about it. First, I want to tell you how I came up with the idea to collect this person, or how I became aware of them. When I first started looking into vintage baseball cards, I done a Google search. I searched for Christian baseball players, and there was two names that came up the most, or that stuck out to me the most. And the first one was Carl Erskine, or he may have been the second one, but either way, he was one of them, Carl Erskine. And if you watch my channel at any point in time, you know he's one of my two favorite people to player collect. But the other one was Christy Mathewson. Now, I must admit, I didn't know much about Christy Mathewson up until this point in time. So what I did is I searched on the internet, Christy Mathewson books. And this book right here is the one I came across and decided to go with. I would recommend this book. A lot of interesting facts in here. Talks some about some American history things, how it tied into his life, so recommend it. Whether you're a Mathewson fan or thinking about it, this would probably be a good starting point, or it was for me. But the more I'd read about him in this book, the more I liked him. He's referred to as the Christian gentleman. He was a player with upstanding morals. It made me think, they was talking about in here at this point in time, professional baseball players may have not been the person you'd want your daughter to date, because his future wife's parents was a little reserved in that, I believe. But he was different. And I thought of this reason. I remember one time that this is nothing to do with baseball, but one time I was watching, I think it was Colin Cowherd. And Lawrence Taylor had recently gotten into trouble again. And Colin Cowherd said, Lawrence Taylor is the reason Tim Tebow got first round money. With Tim Tebow, he wasn't going to be in trouble and stuff. But hey, not running anybody down, but it was just something that thought about. You didn't have to worry about Christy Mathewson causing trouble. Like I said, called the Christian gentleman. He promised his mom that he wouldn't play on Sundays. And I read in this book that there's some teams that would try to schedule a doubleheader on Sundays, so that'd be 2 games at least. They didn't have to face him. But the more I read about him, the more I liked him. A World War I veteran, of course, died from complications of tuberculosis. Was it when he was in the war, his unit, they may have had some like mustard gas or something that caused some health issues. But we won't get into that with this video anyways. But the card that I bought was Christy Mathewson. And I originally thought about getting the 40 play ball. I thought, that might be a good way to get into Christy Mathewson. And I was talking with Kyle at Collecting America's Pastime, and he said, why don't you go for playing days? And kind of talked it around, and and looking at different cost variances and which ones I should go for. And I got on TCDB, and I started looking, and my favorite card of Christy Mathewson is probably my favorite baseball card, the most beautiful baseball card that I've seen. And that's the T205 Christy Mathewson, the gold border. I love that card. By the way, that's not what I got. But I love that card. I one day, Lord willing, will have that card. But that day's not today. And the second one I had on the list was the 1914 Polo Grounds Christy Mathewson, the game card. And that's what I went with. I was actually making me a list out of possibilities for Strongsville. Thought, you know what, I'm going to take X amount of dollars, set that aside for a Christy Mathewson. Strongsville gonna look. And you know what? Like a week or two later, this came up for auction on eBay. One thing I love, well, there's many things I love, but something that why I like this game card. There's 3 game cards. 2 of them have the same image on the front, the National Game and the Bob Barker. I believe those are 1913. They've got a different image. I may even like that image better than this one, but I like this one. I'm not running this one down. But the thing about it is the back. It's got the Polo Grounds. And I tell you what, that's the most beautiful back I've seen on a playing card or any type of card. I love seeing the Polo Grounds. You know, after reading this book, I can't hear the word Polo Grounds and not think about Christy Mathewson. I mean, it's just the first thing that I think of. Polo Grounds, Christy Mathewson. And to be able to have a Polo Grounds game card with Christy Mathewson on the front, I think it's just so cool. After this came up for auction on eBay, I looked at VCP for comps, and you know, cards that I really want, I'm going to pay over what VCP comps is. You know, I may set some records. And does that mean I'm smart? No, probably not. But I hate to get beat out on a card that, you know, I really want. We've all got a certain limitation on budget, though, and, you know, we've got to stick with that. So I was looking at that, and I decided that, you know, well, if I'm going to go a percentage over, like I can't remember if it's 25% or a certain percentage over, I thought I'm comfortable if I can get that card at that. And I came up with the figure of $800. And I was asking Kyle what he thought about that. And he said, well, I'm thinking $600 to $700, but he said $800 would be his max on that. So I thought, well, you know, absolute max of $800. And last bit of the auction started going down, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to hate to lose out for $27. I love the number 27. I've went into that in different stories before. So I told my wife, I said, you know, at the last few seconds, put in 827. Because, you know, I got to use luck when I'm getting through that. Also, something neat about 827, my wife and my daughter was born on the 8th day of the month, and me and my boy was born on the 27th day of the month. So we had their birthday day and mine and my boys. So I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little bit stitious, you know. But anyways, that was the bid I went in on and wound up getting this card for $665. And of course it had to be authenticated. So they mailed it to authentication, and then we mailed it to the vault. And then after it got vaulted, we paid like a $12 fee. Maybe it was a $6 fee and $6 shipping. Cost us something like $12 to get it shipped to me. But I tell you what, I just absolutely love this card. The more I look at it, the more I like it. I even like it better in person. Of course, you know, I've been looking at this card many times, waiting for it to get here. I'm impressed with the shape of these. I'm assuming most of your playing cards, I don't know how these was packaged or how they was kept. I assume that there was a whole deck sold at a time. I should have done some research, but actually I wouldn't mind collecting all of these. There's like 31 or 33 cards. But most of your card games, they're packed in a deck and they're put in a like a cardboard sleeve or slide or a little box. So I'm assuming that's how these was. But you can look, of course, they're rounded corners, got them petty honest corners. I'm guessing that's how they was cut. So I mean, that's kind of cool. But you know, being in a box and if they was kept in a box, I'm guessing, you know, these cards are generally pretty good condition. But it's just kind of a dream for me to, get a plain Dave Christie Mathewson. I've always wanted a card that was 100 years old. And, this is my first pre-war card as well. Now, I bought a pre-war card once. I liked it and thought I got a deal on it, and I think I did, but I thought it would fit better in somebody else's collection, so I gifted it to them. I do have a pre-war Indian chewing gum card, but it's not baseball. And I do have a 1928 maybe 1938 Churchman, Joe Louis. But this is my first pre-war baseball card. And I know I'm just showing it a lot, but thought you all might appreciate that. So first vintage pre-war baseball card that I got. And it's 112 years old. But I just got that in yesterday, and I wanted to get on here and share it with you all. I'm, of course, going to be heading for Strongsville. Well, I'll be leaving, I guess, Wednesday and flying out Thursday morning. But, so I don't know if I'll get a video out before then. I may get 2 or 3, who knows. But I just wanted to share with you all my biggest pickup to date. And maybe even after next weekend, it may still be the biggest. It may not. But I'll keep you all apprised of that. And I've now officially started my Christie Mathewson collection. I hope you all are having a great day this Good Friday. And I wish you all a happy Easter. Thanks.